Welcome back to Marching to Madness, where I am pleased to have our good friend Scott Drew back. But this time, Coach, I'm going to get to call you a national champion head coach, as you guys knocked off, or really did a little more than knock off, Gonzaga 86-70 in the national championship game. Of course, welcome back. And then I'm just wondering, what's the aura of the Baylor Bears national championship like 2 months later?
Well, the good thing is it's been busy and swamped in a good way. So we have opportunities to be on these Zoom calls, podcasts with people like you, and then everybody else that wants to talk about the Baylor Bears. So we call them championship problems. So a lot of excitement, a lot of people wanting to have a chance to talk to our players and coaches, and it's been a blessing the last 2 months.
I was just curious, how have you seen the excitement, manifest itself there on campus and then in the Waco community?
Well, first and foremost, our players, when we got back for about a week, they said it was nonstop excitement, celebrations. And I know probably with COVID coming more to an end too, that probably led into people excited to be out and about as well. But just people around the town, all around the state, just not only Baylor fans, but bigger than that, the state of Texas having a second championship since 1966, and everyone being able to celebrate and be a part of it. And for those that aren't even diehard basketball fans, that love just watching the culture, joy, and how our players played for Jesus, others, and yourself last, and just how everybody responded and not only in on the court, but off the court in their interviews, and how our young men conducted themselves. A lot of people really said, you know what, I like those guys. I like what they stand for. I like Baylor basketball.
It was really interesting watching that basketball game, how it was never really in doubt. Were you guys even amazed over on that sideline at how these kids circled the wagons and came out there? And even when Gonzaga tried to run at you, they didn't get too far.
Well, knowing coaches, we're in every play and every possession. So I know people said 5 minutes in the game, I knew you were going to win. Well, I wish they would all told me so I could have relaxed, So, I mean, I know what a great program Gonzaga has and what a great coach Coach Few is.
Definitely.
It's not over till it's over. So I was sweating it out to the end, and obviously celebrated with everybody else once it ended.
Well, you had a backcourt that was dynamic. As three seniors there, Jared Butler, phenomenal. And of course, Davion Mitchell, MaCio Teague. Talk a little bit about having a group like that works so well together. They're all scorers, but at the end of the day, they gave up for the greater good long before you guys even pinned the national championship.
Well, and that's where it was just a outstanding group, where a year ago they won 23 games in a row. And what happened during that time is you had unprecedented success, but just how they handled the success definitely set the stage for this year, when this is 3 out of the last 5 seasons we've been ranked number 1, and with all the attention and media hoopla, a lot of times that can go to players' heads, and now all of a sudden they become more selfish on the court. And we really had a great group that for 2 years stuck together and was the winningest Power 5 team in those 2 years, and accomplished so many great things, and won the conference for the first time since 1950 in the first Big 12 conference championship. And again, credit those guys for putting their teammates over them, and just buying into winning and doing whatever it took, and embracing the roles they all had.
You guys were numero uno, number 1 in 3-point percentage, 41.3%. It's incredible. I'm like all your kids, I guess, and you probably is. I'm a big fan of the NBA, especially around playoff time. So you see the Jazz and the Clippers shooting at about the same rate. Is there anything that might resonate with the players as they watch us about, wow, we were at that percentage and they're pros?
Well, I think first of all, college kids all want to be pros,
Oh yeah.
and whatever happens in the NBA trickles down to college as far as style of play and what people like. And you look at the NBA, it's gone more 5 out and definitely 4 out, and everybody's shooting the 3 and handling the ball, and that's definitely made its way to college. And at the same time, there's a reason our guys were such great shooters, is because they spent a lot of time in the gym and worked on it, and then they sacrificed during the games to make sure they got good shots, because if you're a great shooter and you take bad shots, your percentages don't show you're a great shooter. So you got to get the right shots. And our players worked hard to get the right shots, worked hard to, when they got them, to be able to make them. And it's a lot easier to coach teams that share the ball, take good shots, and obviously are shot makers.
Well, you got 2 shot makers coming back there, and Adam Flagler and Matt Meyer. I'm curious, as you look at them, they were both over 40%, I think, also on the season. That's kind of a starting block, I guess, for what will be another good three-point shooting team potentially.
Well, hopefully,
Yeah.
as you know, each year the things you don't know is, one, how injuries are going to affect your team and who gets injured. And then the second thing is, you never know about the chemistry of your team until you get into the season, and then you don't know about the leadership of the guys until you're in areas where you have to handle success or you have to handle failure, and to see how they do it. And those 3 things are what makes coaching so unique year in and year out, because your leadership, your chemistry, and your injury situation obviously tend to vary year to year.
You had 2 really good, efficient big men that played a role as well. Jonathan Chamois Chachua, I think.
Hey,
And
very good.
very
Very
good.
good, Ken.
All right. I've been practicing all morning, by the way. So, pat on the back. But anyway,
Yeah.
uh, and then Flo Thamba, I'm curious, what's the next step in maybe their production, and the next step in, I guess, building them as a total player?
Well, each and every year you want your players to improve in certain areas, and then let their roles kind of change and grow as their game does, and their maturity and their experience. At the same time, both of them are elite ball screeners, and they do a great job in setting screens, rolling out, finishing around the rim. So hopefully that never changes, because that's something that in college and the NBA, there's definitely a premium on. Both of them play hard. Both of them rebound. Both of them defend. They can switch and guard multiple people. They can protect the rim. So a lot of positives that they bring, and you don't win the championship without them. This year, hopefully they just get more efficient and better in each area, and then maybe expand their games in certain areas, like can they shoot the 3 at a percentage worthwhile to where you shoot more 3s? Can they get fouled more? Can they score more effectively around the rim?
How much have you been able to work with the upcoming group so far?
We just started workouts this week, so we've only had 2 of them, and excited. But obviously, we got 8 full weeks this summer to get a much better feel for the guys.
You got a really good player here coming from Arizona, James Akinjo. I watched him a lot last year, just to watch Arizona, kind of. 26 starts, and he averaged, I think, 15 and a half, and then 5.5 assists. Talk a little bit about him coming over, and then you got a really nice scorer out of Fairmont State in West Virginia, in Dale Bonner.
Yeah, well, we have a track record of transfers really working out, and James and Dale are 2 of those guys that kind of fit that mold, and we think they're going to be real successful and have great careers at Baylor, and excited to work with them. And then with the freshmen we have, the great thing about them is not only they're really talented, they come from great programs, so they're used to competition. But anytime you go from high school to college, it is a jump up, because in high school you're not playing with 21 and 22-year-olds. So you have an opportunity to, in the summertime, get them used to playing with guys 4 years older than them, and what things would work maybe against an 18-year-old, no matter what level of 18-year-old. A little bit different, a little bit harder when you got a 22-year-old who's a little stronger and a little more developed physically and athletically.
Yeah, you're talking about, of course, three kids there that I, have followed and watched actually, in high school. You keep up with them. I think at this stage, Kendall Brown is a five-star forward, and then you've got Langston Love and Jeremy Sochin.
And all three of them are tremendous players with a lot of upside, but really fit our culture. And we're really excited to work with because not only has God gifted them with a lot of basketball talent, but they're outstanding young men as well.
As we're seeing COVID, I think, I don't want to say go away because it's not gone yet, but we're seeing it lift. How are you able to go back in and adapt to what was normal to you? And then also, what are some things you were doing because of COVID that you might keep implementing?
Great questions. First, it's you got to reset how you do things from the standpoint as things continue to open up. Last year, remember, we didn't know if we would have our college players at all, and then we were able to get them in July, and then it was so limited as far as what they could do. I mean, for the first time now in the summertime, they're back to having open gym. And last summer they couldn't have any of that. So just remembering, this is how it used to be for all those years, and getting them used to that is completely different. Seeing them be able to come in and work out with multiple groups or work out with their teammates rather than last year having to come in with no, there can only be one of you on this end, one of you on this end. And you can't be with this person. You have to be with that person. You have to be with him because you live with them, and so on and so forth. So definitely getting back to more normality, which is people coming up whenever they want, working out when they want, being able to play open gym. And then from that, the balancing, because it is a long season and you don't want to do too much to where you tax them to where they're not able to perform come not only regular non-conference but also conference season. So just getting a feel for getting back to all of that.
You talk about building joy in your program, and obviously you could see these kids play with joy if you watch Baylor basketball, long before the national championship, team after team and whatever. What are the things you guys do for kids or with kids, maybe when they come into Baylor, that helps build joy or even more joy?
Yeah. Well, the blessing being a Baylor University is we prepare champions for life, and we're able to pour into them spiritually, academically, character formation wise, and athletically. And so often, if people are eating right, sleeping right, and taking care of themselves off the court, it affects how they are on the court. And with us, we get to pour into every facet of that. At the same time, the blessing is we have a really good core group of guys that have established a great culture in the summertime. Now with COVID allowing things to restore back to normal, we can get some of our vets to come back. Like Epe Udo will be here Thursday, and Epe's not only a tremendous six pick in the draft and a great professional player, but somebody that helped establish our culture here, and comes back and does a great job in just talking with their guys, working out with their guys. And even if guys just come back for 1 day or 2 days, the fact that they come back really allows the young people to see, this is what I'm supposed to do when I graduate. And you know what? Epe said this is important, and coach says it's important. It must be important. So it's great having past players be able to come back and help with that as well.
Speaking of past players, I covered the Raptors here in Tampa Bay this year, which was quite a treat. It took me back to the 20 plus years I covered the Hornets up in Charlotte. Mm-hmm. Freddie Gillespie came in and he got a lot of run. I was just curious about your take on him and how maybe his pro career, kind of was ignited right there.
Well, Freddie's one of those success stories. He started out at Carleton College. He scored a total of 4 points. I think he played 16 minutes his first year at Carleton College, and then he comes to Baylor, walks on, ends up winning a scholarship, and now, like you said, finished the last two games starting for the Toronto Raptors. So God gave him some natural talent and ability, but Freddie's work ethic might be his best talent and ability, and his ability to adjust to whatever role and stay within that lane and whatever a coach wants. And NBA personnel so often talk about it. People would be in the league if they would just embrace their role. And Freddie's role is whatever the team needs, whatever the coach needs. And there's no, well, I'll do it if I get this, or I'll do it if I get that, or begrudgingly I'll do it. It's nothing but 100% into the little things that usually end up being the difference in winning and losing.
Coach, last thing here before I let you go. Name, image, and likeness is on the tip of everybody's tongue, I think, talking basketball right now. Can you discuss how deep you think name, image, and likeness will go? As in, how will the university prepare the players to be able to grasp that?
Well, I think each university is doing research, conference offices are doing research, and whenever the final rules come out as far as what you're able to do and how you're able to do it, athletic departments are going to be in a great position. Even though they're kind of guessing right now and speculating what's going to happen, they have different solutions and ideas to whatever might come through as far as this is what's allowed, this is what's not allowed. So this is how we can best introduce it and help prepare our young student athletes to make sure they're not breaking rules, but at the same time being able to maximize whatever they can under whatever current legislation is passed.
Coach, is that something when you recruit a player, now you're going to have a whole addendum, so to speak, to talk to him and his parents about?
Definitely, it's something that will come up, but normally NCAA rules, just like scholarships, just like hours that you can, like in the summertime, you get 8 hours.
Right.
Once the rules come out, every school is going to do whatever they can to maximize the value for their student athletes. And I would think things would be more along those lines. Whenever anyone has a good idea, normally it gets copied. And so players will benefit and we'll explain how. But I would assume for the most part, like universities, like schools, Power 5 schools, schools within conferences will all kind of respond and act the same way.
Coach Scott Drew of the national champion Baylor Bears. Coach, it's always great catching up with you. I'm looking forward, to seeing how your program morphs and the players come in and we see that transition once again.
Well, appreciate you. Thanks for all you do for basketball, and love that shirt, sir. Keep wearing it.
I broke a good one out for you. I had to have a national championship quality shirt, and Flamingos say it all.
I love it. I love it. Hey, take care, kid. Have
Thank
a great
you, Coach
day.
Drew. Yeah.
Thank you very much.